Yay! Okay. Join me. So good to see you. I get asked all the time about different types of goals because people hear me say how you do one thing is how you do all things. So when I'm coaching people, I'm like, they might come in because they're like, I need clarity in my work, or I need to get healthier, or maybe it is relationships, maybe it's I need more money, or they need something. Okay. And if I can teach them how to get one of those things, it's the exact same process to get all of those things, right? But today I want to specifically lean into relationships. Okay. And I want you to ask yourself, because relationships, whether you think it or not, it means that another person is giving you something that you want. That's what's happening. But instead we say, oh, I'm in love with you. Because like, who's going to say I'm in, like, I want this from you? It's just not as catchy, right? But I want you to think about your relationships. And maybe you're going, well, I'm not in a relationship right now. Well, do you want to be? If you don't want to be, check out right now. Okay. Or if you're in one and you want it to feel better than it is, or maybe if you're like, no, my relationships are good, well, guess what? They can always get better. Okay. I'm going to give you some things today that are going to absolutely transform your relationship. The first thing I can give you, and what I really want you to do, I want you to scrap any of this 50-50 garbage. Yep, I said it. But you're like, but Delynn, we have to come in as equal partners. Yeah, come in as equal partners. I didn't say that, but you're not 50-50. The moment you start giving 50% of you to your relationship, it's on its way out. You both get to come in as 100%, as two whole people. When you come in as two whole people and you give 100% of you to the cause of this relationship, it's already winning. It doesn't even matter whatever I'm going to say for the rest of this live. It doesn't even matter. I want you to ask yourself, are you giving 100%? And we'll always have alibis and excuses. We'll say, well, I'm not giving 100% because I also have kids, and I also have a job, and I also have this, and I also have that. How can I give 100% of me to all of it? Well, you can. The fact is you can. And it can be fun, and it doesn't have to be hard work. And if you've ever been in a relationship that doesn't feel like work, you'll know what that means when I say that. If your relationship is work, and like it's work, don't get me wrong. Like I've been married, or Dave and I have been together, gosh, almost 20 years now. It's work. And sometimes it was a lot of work. But I can tell you, when I started coming in at it at 100%, instead of trying to give 10% of me to everything and half-assing everything, I felt a lot better for it. And our relationship quantum leaped to the next level. People ask me all the time, they're like, oh my gosh, you moved your kids to Barbados? Like, you're just you and Dave? Like, it's just you guys here? It's like, yeah, yep, we can do that. But I still give 100% to me. I'm always telling you guys, you can't fill from an empty cup. Like, I can't give to the girls and give to Dave and give to the dog and give to the neighbor and give to my friends and give to my family and give if I haven't given to me first. So the number one relationship that you are always going to have is with yourself. And what happens is a lot of people get into this habit of searching for what they need inside of them in another human. And I want to ask you, who do you think you are searching for something that you need to give to yourself and putting that kind of pressure on another human being. And if you are that other human being, ask yourself that. Like, holy crap, like, who am I to tolerate that? I want you to know you deserve to be 100%. You deserve to feel like a whole person. And you deserve to have another person that feels like a whole person partnering in life with you. Okay, the moment we do this, like the biggest trap is when people come together and they become this single entity. And I remember when Dave and I got married and people saying, oh, you're one person now. I'm like, no, we're not. I'm me, he's him. I have my goals, he has his goals, and we have goals together, right? We have goals for our family because now we've procreated 2 other humans, right? And we own things together, and but we kind of like to hang out together. That's why we chose to get married in the first place. But when we come together, it doesn't mean that you give up your own interests and pursuits. Okay, it is so important in every relationship for each individual to maintain their own independence. I don't rely on him for everything. I don't rely on him for anything. There's things, because I mean, like, look at the dynamics in your own household, right? Like, there's certain things that he enjoys, so he takes care of in our home. And there's certain things that I enjoy and I take care of. And if neither of us enjoy them, we hire them out. That's how we roll. I'm like, oh, I don't love cleaning the house. You don't love cleaning the house. Let's hire somebody that does love cleaning the house. Done. I don't like cutting the grass and you don't like cutting the grass. Hire somebody that loves cutting grass. Okay. Do you get what I'm saying? But it's not a his and her thing. And we've approached parenting in the exact same way. It's not I mean, there was up until last year, I actually have owned my own business since our girls were 1 and 3. Okay. So like, yes, I was at home with my business, but I always had my own things that I was doing within my business. Right. So just because I did it at home, like, we knew that we're still both coming at this as 100%. Okay. And it's a game changer when it is. Okay, so if you're like, oh, I'm just going to shut her down now because that's not what I have, and there's no way my spouse is going to go for that, I want you to lean into this even more. Maybe let your spouse listen to this because they're going to feel better too. Okay, you get to live your life and be in a kick-ass relationship and be a kick-ass parent and be a kick-ass friend and all the other hats that you wear. You get to be all of those things and you get to kick ass at all of them. But here's where maintaining your own identities is so crucial. And I always tell my clients, like, my goal when I work with people is that by the end of us working together, which there usually is never an end, they love themselves so much that anything that contributes to their happiness outside of their own self-love is a perk. That's why I always tell people, I'm like, I want you to love yourself so much that when your kids or your partner or your parents or your siblings say, I love you, you're just like, oh, that's good. Thanks. Love you too. It's a perk. You don't rely on their love to keep functioning in life. And this is what happens though, right? Like, people rely on their relationships. And if that person ends the relationship, their life is over. And it's like, your life's not over. And you don't even have to worry about that. I mean, yes, like if Dave all of a sudden said to me, hey, Dylan, I don't think we should be married anymore. Is that going to rock me? Yes. But is it going to stop me from loving me? Nope. Because I do the work on me every single day. Okay. So it doesn't matter what kind of relationship you're in, you need to come in as 100%. And that means doing the work on you every single day and not settling. Okay. Because this whole, like, in sickness and in health thing, right? Like, some things are going to be better and sometimes things are going to be rockier. But sometimes your relationship is going the way you expect it to, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes you're personally in a good space and sometimes you're not. In a relationship, to be able to take the good with the stuff that feels heavy is a sign of strength. And that's going to come when you have it within you. You will hear me. It doesn't matter what I'm talking about. I will say to you guys all the time, if you want more of something, give it. You want more money, give it. You want more love, give it. But you can't give what's not in you to give. So if you don't have it in you first, how do you expect to even give it to your partner? You can't, not in the way that you want it to. And if you're feeling that they're lacking in giving it to you, it's because their outside is a reflection of their inside. Challenge them. Ask them, say, can you go in front of a mirror? Can you go in front of a mirror, look at yourself in your eyeballs and say, I love you? Can you do that? And it's, again, there's no right or wrong answer. There's no good or bad. Okay. It's a challenge. I challenge you. Can you do it? And can your partner do it? Because if they can't do it, if you can't do it for yourself and not want to vomit, you be prepared that even if you're saying it to somebody else, you're just saying it because you're in the habit of saying it, not because you mean it. Because what happens is when we just get into the habit of being like, oh, love you, kiss, goodbye, done, that it just forms a habit. And before you know it, you're just roommates, housemates that happen to have created humans. I want you to be in the habit of dating yourself, like dating yourself and dating your partner. Never stop dating. Never stop learning. Okay? Growing is good for you. Good for you as an individual and always, always, always good for you as a couple. Okay? So a wonderful way to keep expanding and challenging each other in a positive way is to make a commitment to learn new skills and knowledge about each other and together. Okay, the relationship goal is a lifelong learning process. Because I started dating Dave when he was 24. He's not the same person now. He likes some of the same things, not all the same things. Do you know what I mean? But it's up to me to know this. And I talked to some people that have recently ended relationships and they're like, it's because he's changed so much. Well, frig, I hope so. I don't want to date 24-year-old Dave anymore. And I hope he doesn't want to date 22-year-old me. I'm not the same person I was last week, let alone when I was 22, for crying out loud. But it's our obligation as coming in as 100, right? Like when I started setting new standards for my life, I was obligated to say, hey, Dave, I know we've done life together for like a while now, but just a heads up, I'm setting new standards for myself. And I said to him, this is what I feel about health. This is what I feel about money. This is what I feel about our relationship. This is what I feel about me. This is what I feel about work. This is what I feel. Just a heads up, because it's shifted dramatically than how I used to do things, because my standards changed. But if you can get yourself in a routine where you are growing yourself and you are dating yourself and you are in the routine of dating each other, learning about each other. Remember that feeling when you first started dating and it was like, oh, it's so exciting. It gets to feel that way. It might look different, but it doesn't have to end. You get to choose what you are making a priority in your life. And if you're making a priority to you, then you will automatically everybody will be a priority. Your kids will be a priority, everybody else, but it starts with you. It starts with you. Actively do things for each other. Some of the simplest things you can do in a relationship is just not to take each other for granted. Go out of your way to actively and consciously let them know. If you haven't done this before, I found it super helpful. There's there's a book to it, and there's like a free online quiz you can take, and it's the love languages. Highly recommend it. Find out what your partner's love language is. And I've recommended this. I recommend this always when people have relationship goals, because and what I've seen seen it shift people's relationships because just because they have different love languages. So, for example, I had one client I was working with that her number one love language was gifts, and her husband's was touch. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, he's driving me nuts," because her number 5 was touch. I should have mentioned that. And his number 5 was gifts. Okay, so she's just like, he doesn't care. He never buys me flowers. He never, picks me up a coffee. He never does any of that. Okay, well, no, it's not on his radar because that's his number 5 love language. Yet he's always like touching her, right? Like he's always got to be like touching her arm, holding her hand, have his arm, like he's always touching her. And she's just like, it's driving me bonkers. Why has he always got to touch me? Well, it's not on her radar that he just wants to touch her, and she doesn't want, it's just not even on her radar to be touched all the time. Okay. It's just not how she expresses herself. So this is a really good thing for you guys to play around with. Okay. But just actively find these things out. And this is the learning, right? Like this, it gets to be fun. But just really trust as that all of this will come at you at the perfect time. Okay, so speak your love language, but go out of your way to speak theirs. Okay, and when it comes to people outside of your relationship, you guys get to decide what that looks like together. When your families automatically include you both, like in all the plans, and just presume you'll be there, like you decide what you're going to go to. You don't have to do everything together just because you're a couple. You are individuals. Okay, creating your own world is one of the stepping stones to this like magical experience. And if your standards that you set for yourself have been communicated and they're not met, give yourself permission to honor your feelings. Ask who you're actually serving. One exercise I want you to do with your partner is I want you to identify, it doesn't matter how long you've been together, okay? I want you to identify where you are and where you want to go. Okay, so I want you to make a list of what you need, where you are, where you're experiencing, what how it is, okay? Then I want you to make a list of how you want it to be. How you want it to be on all levels. Then here's the kicker. I want you to have a conversation. I know. Have a conversation. And I want you to set a plan to fill the gap. Because what's going to happen is you might think your partner's not even noticing how things currently are, but they're made from the same stuff you are. They are. They might not express it the same way you do, but they notice. Okay? And guess what? Chances are they want a lot of the exact same things that you do. So they're going to be motivated to work with you on filling that gap. If you can do these things, your relationship will change. Your relationship with yourself will change, and therefore your relationship with other will change. It's amazing. It's amazing how it works. It's a miracle. And if you can close the gap on your relationship, I promise you can close the gap in any part of your life. Your health, your bank account, your work, doesn't matter. Okay? I'm super curious. If you guys have any other things that you have done consciously over time, I want to hear all about them. Put them in the chat. Thanks for joining me.